We are heartbroken. There are no words to describe the atrocity that occurred to our city. All I know is that this must stop. This divisiveness between our police and our citizens.
Calm, compassion, and courage. That's a message in Dallas as the country mourns with the city that is now at the center of a national struggle.
WRAL's Candace Sweat flew to Dallas this morning, and that's where she joins us live.
You can see behind me here downtown, it's still a very active scene, and Dallas police tell us it's going to look like this here in the downtown area at least until Wednesday. Roads will be blocked off in this area as they conduct their investigation. Now, we're looking down at the intersection of Lamar and Main Street. That is actually where much of the gunfire happened last night. The street, as you can see, is blocked off. You can see a mobile command center as well as investigators continue to comb through the area, gather information, conduct their investigation. Now, it was a very chaotic scene last night. People scattering, running, screaming during a rally and a march as those shots rang out. We know 12 officers were shot, 5 killed, and what is being called a sniper ambush. Now, we know one of those officers was 43-year-old Brent Thompson. We've also learned that the suspect is identified as Micah Johnson, an Army veteran. He was killed by a robotic bomb deployed by the Dallas Police Department, and that's after a short time of gun exchange, and they also attempted to negotiate with him as well. Now, earlier, Police Chief David Brown said there was possibly 3 additional suspects, but we've since learned that Johnson, according to Homeland Security, is the only suspect that police were looking at this point. Now, Dallas Police is keeping us informed via social media. They've been very good, very vigilant about that. They said they've interviewed at least 200 police officers, and 12, they said, deployed their guns, exchanged gunfire last night. 12 officers did. So still a little bit of a tense scene out here. Officers are keeping this area blocked off, and we're going to continue to stay out here for the next several hours and keep you updated as we gather more information.
Candace, we're now showing pictures of what you took of a memorial outside a substation in Dallas and the flags that have staff. You have a personal connection to that substation and the city of Dallas. Could you share a little bit about that?
Dallas is near and dear to me. I grew up here. Those pictures actually came from my mother, who is a Dallas police veteran. The Southeast Station is her substation. But right now, I'll get into that a little bit later, but we want to cut to a news conference that's taking place right now here in Dallas. Take a look.
This was a mobile shooter that had written manifestos on how to shoot and move, and he did that. He did his damage, but we did our damage to him as well.
Now to tonight's developments in the Dallas police shootings. We have learned that President Obama will cut short his European trip and visit the city where 12 officers were shot, 5 of them killed. The president will leave Spain Sunday night and visit Texas early next week. Investigators believe military veteran Micah Johnson was the only gunman. They searched the 25-year-old's home late today and found bomb-making materials, vests, rifles, ammunition, and a journal on combat tactics. They are analyzing the information found in that journal. Tonight, we know the names of the 5 officers who died in last night's attack. They are Lauren Aarons, Michael Kroll, Michael Smith, Brent Thompson, and Patrick Zamarripa. They were military veterans. They were husbands, fathers. The men range in age from 25 to 55. And while the Dallas Police Department tries to stay strong during this time, an emotional moment was caught on cell phone. It shows 2 women giving female police officers a hug on the street. One officer wipes away tears at the show of support.
WRAL's Candace Sweat grew up in Dallas, and she has family members on the force there. Tonight, she returned to her hometown, which is trying to heal after this tragedy. She joins us now live. Candace?
Deborah, I can tell you tonight out here the mood is quite somber. You can see behind me a memorial is growing. Since we've been out here within the last several hours, that cruiser has become covered by flowers and teddy bears and just people coming out to show their support, to stand in solidarity and their condolences. Of course, we've spoken with a lot of people who say it's going to take time here in Dallas to heal from the events, not only here in Dallas, but over the last several days. And I actually spoke with one police officer who tells tells me that he experienced a range of emotions over the last 24 hours. Hear what he has to say.
I was shocked. I didn't believe it.
Officer Sanchez joined the Dallas Police Force 7 years ago. Of all he's seen and heard, he'll never forget the night of July 7th.
When I first heard about it, I think with anyone, it was shock. Then it was disbelief. And then it was hurt, sadness, anger, everything from every feeling you can imagine. I'm pretty sure every police officer, not just in the city of Dallas, felt it.
Men and women he calls brothers and sisters gunned down in the street in what's being called a sniper-style ambush. There have been tears, hugs, and many questions that may never have answers. But there's also been a tangible sense of community.
We've shaken hands, we've given hugs, and we've even shed tears.
On both sides, we need to purposefully try to walk in each other's shoes for a minute.
Less than 5 miles away from main headquarters, barricades, mobile command centers, and investigators. A reminder that someone didn't share the sentiments of those leaving their condolences. Sanchez acknowledges not only will there be tough conversations, but perhaps an uphill battle ahead.
Every citizen in this country has the right to question and has the right to answers.
And I can tell you that even some of the people who participated in that protest last night have come out here to show their solidarity. In fact, I spoke with one woman who actually brought her children out to the protest. She felt it was that important to stand up against police brutality, but she also described the moment that she heard those shots ring out.
Because everybody was doing so great. We were so happy and getting along, and it was positive and it was going well. And then all of a sudden you hear what you pray was firecrackers. Then a few seconds later, you hear those firecrackers again, and you realize that we have to let the world know that this is not why we came here. We have to let them know this wasn't a setup by the police. It wasn't anything to make us look bad. It wasn't anything for us to prey on them. It was someone was angry.
She says this is absolutely not what they intended during that march. She said up until that point, it was so peaceful and actually quite uplifting as everyone was coming together for one cause. But of course, it ended tragically.
Certainly no one expected what happened. And Candace, we talked about how your family is on the force. How are they doing tonight?
I heard from my mom last night when all of this happened. She sent me a text and said, I just want to let you know that I'm okay. And of course, I hadn't seen anything on the news just yet, so I immediately turned on the television and saw everything that was going on here in Dallas. And I called her just to check on her and make sure that she was doing okay. But, you know, I can tell you that this is not really the Dallas that I remember, the events that happened yesterday. But in a lot of ways it is, because so many people are coming together, supporting each other. I can put my arms around my mom eventually. I haven't seen her today because she still has a job to do, as do I. But a lot of people can't say that over the past several days. So it's tough. And I just want to point out this building behind me. That is a staple in Dallas. It's usually emerald green, but tonight it's blue in solidarity with the officers that were lost yesterday. So everybody's going to pull together here and get through this.
The nation remains on edge tonight as Dallas police continue to investigate and honor the deaths of their fallen officers. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Brown. Ken Smith is on assignment. He'll join us live in just a few moments. I want to run down right now the latest developments out of Dallas. Dallas PD activated a SWAT team tonight after a threat against headquarters was called in. The team scoured a parking deck nearby for several hours looking for a suspicious person. So far, no credible threat has been found. Investigators also uncovered a troubled ending for the military career of the sniper who opened fire Thursday night. Well, in Afghanistan, Micah Johnson was accused of sexual harassment. He was never convicted of criminal wrongdoing. And tonight, hundreds of protesters shut down a highway in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is live video of that protest going on right now. For a third day, demonstrators have gathered there to protest the shooting deaths of 2 black men by police in Minnesota and Louisiana just days before that Dallas attack on the officers. Our team coverage continues now live in Dallas. WRAL's Candace Sweat live at police headquarters. Candace, what is the scene like right now?
Well, Catherine, you mentioned that lockdown that's since been lifted actually 2 hours ago. That was lifted roughly, and people have started coming back out here and leaving their flowers, their teddy bears, and just really their condolences for the Dallas Police Department. I can tell you, though, Catherine, a few hours ago, the mother of Officer Patrick Zamarripa, was gracious enough to sit down with me in her home and talk to me about her last words, her last conversation with her son.
It was his dream.
Valerie Zamarripa remembers the last conversation she had with her son.
When we chit-chatted, and I told him that my license plate cover was broken, and it says Navy Mom on it. And he goes, well, I'll go get you one when we go on base. I said, okay, fine. I said, you getting ready to go to work? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay. He goes, well, I love you, Mom. So I love you too. Be careful, be safe.
Just hours later, she was watching the news. A shooting in downtown Dallas. Reports that officers had been shot.
I figured that, he was just busy and couldn't get to the phone. So we just said, I'll wait. And then my daughter also called me and said, Mom, do you have your phone on you? Keep it handy because I don't have a good feeling about this.
She recalls the moment she found out her son, Officer Patrick Zamarripa, was among the 5 killed in a sniper-style ambush.
They met us at the door and took us to a room, and that's where they told me that he didn't make it.
Now, a small shrine is growing inside her house. Memories of the 32-year-old father of 2 and Navy veteran who dreamed of joining the police force.
He died a senseless death, first of all, for no reason at all, because all that other stuff had nothing to do with him, nor the protests. But Patrick was a loving, caring, wonderful, humble person. He just loved life, and he loved being a policeman.
And she tells me that her son would have celebrated his 33rd birthday next month. She says that instead of getting ready for a birthday celebration now, she spent much of her day today at the funeral home and making sure that her son's uniform was cleaned and pressed for his memorial service. And again, just gracious enough to allow us inside of her home during this time of grief.
In Dallas, a mixture of pain, fear, and anger continues to permeate the city. WRAL's Candace Sweat has been there for the last 3 days. It is her hometown.
That's where she joins us now live from. And Candace, give us a sense of what that mood is like today.
Well, Ken, Catherine, I can tell you that Dallas certainly has a long way to go before it is completely healed. But today it seems like I noticed people were having more conversations. The silence is being broken. They're talking about their fears, their concerns, and really what they would like to see happen here in the city. Now, right now we're here at the southeast substation of the Dallas Police Department. You can see that people, as with all of the substations, have been leaving balloons, teddy bears, and letters as well. And actually just a few hours ago, they actually invited a few people inside. We've been seeing people walking up, greeting officers, telling them thank you for their service, giving them hugs. And I spoke with one of the sergeants at this substation today. He tells me they really haven't received any special orders in terms of changing their standard operating procedures since this shooting.
We have had no special rules regarding how to treat people because our general rule is that we treat people the way we'd want to be treated, and I think that's the golden rule that our parents teach us.
And even in his mourning and in his time of grief, Sergeant Burrows is aware that there are some tough conversations ahead that Dallas police, Dallas city leaders, and the community that they're going to have, and he says we can't shy away from that. I also spoke with a Dallas city councilman, Adam McHugh, and he was out here actually speaking with his constituents. We'll hear from him a little bit later tonight, but he says that he supports the Dallas Police Department. Also, it's a time to listen to those residents in those predominantly minority communities about their concerns as well. That's not lost on them, but still we're in a state of mourning.